Clavicular has been charged in Miami-Dade County, bringing him to 2 separate criminal cases, which could land him behind bars. We're going to talk about this today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, Florida attorney, and this is a Fast Facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. So you guys who have been following the channel know that I've been following Clavicular quite closely and saying, hey, streaming all of these things is going to lead to you being the star witness in your own case and more charges piling up. So we have that here again today. For those who don't know our defendant, Braden Peters, aka Clavicular, he's been all over the place for looks maxing content and getting lots of clips out there that are being tossed out all over the internet, all over everywhere, certainly all over Kick.
Well, it's exactly how it sounds. I mean, you're just creating microfractures in specific areas of your face. So you're intentionally creating these traumas, typically on your cheekbones, your chin, wherever, in order to grow your bones.
And meth. I've seen you say you take meth. Do you do that for your appearance?
Not anymore, but I have previously, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Stimulants suppress your appetite, and that is a stimulant with a very long half-life, meaning the suppression of your appetite lasts the entire day.
And has gotten a lot of popularity very quickly, let's say. But now let's turn to the background. The background here is we've got Clavicular facing a mountain of legal trouble. So he's got these 2 criminal cases. He's got one in Osceola County for battery and conspiracy to commit battery. And he's also got a massive civil trial with his ex over SA battery fraud in Miami-Dade County. Now, after an investigation in Miami-Dade County, he's had more criminal charges piled on. And that's after his Everglades adventures.
Just had to make sure. Yo! Yeah, I think it's dead.
So as you guys can see, there were some investigation after that. A lot of questions were raised. I did a video on it pointing out potential violations, and indeed they did bring one here. So they got here, and this is in the county court for Miami-Dade County, my home county, where they charged Clavicular, that's Braden Eric Peters, and 2 of his homies, Andrew and Yabidal, with unlawful discharge of a firearm in public. That's under statute 790-15. Now, they also place 775.087. That's kind of the 1020 life statute, but we're going to ignore that one. A lot of times they place that one on there just as a matter of course, just because it's kind of a template. But really under 790 is we're going to look here, and that's where this punishment is going to come down. So what is the new charge? Well, the new charge is unlawful discharge of a firearm. That's under section 790-15. So it is unlawful to knowingly discharge a firearm in any public place, right away, road or street, also over an occupied residence. There's also other exceptions there. So that's the one he's going to be hit with there. And once again, these are the type of things that if he wasn't recording, if he was just out there in the Everglades, just kind of shooting around and doing stuff all alone with no cameras, he probably would never have been charged. This would never have been brought against him. But when you are streaming these things, police, investigators, and particularly people that don't like you are going to look for these reasons to charge you and ways to charge you. And these things are going to come up when enough people complain. Now, a lot of people thought it was going to be for shooting the alligator. We covered that law. If it's a dead alligator, there's probably no charge there under Florida law. But they look at other ways to charge and they say, okay, look, this behavior is reckless. We're going to probably throw in unlawful discharge. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, the base charge, the typical charge, is a first-degree misdemeanor, which is up to a year in jail or a $1,000 fine. Obviously, it could have probation, it could have court fees, but that charge in and of itself is not the real damage for Clavicular, because as you may know, he's also facing a little bit of trouble for another incident. And you can see Clavicular here with his, I guess, new girlfriend and former girlfriend. I mean, there's a girl fight here. The girl's tumbling around. She's definitely beating on her. And then you've got Clavicular kind of inserting himself in this, getting involved. That can be conspiracy to instigate battery, essentially. Clavicular was brought in on these charges. These are actually what he was arrested for and he was brought in for. So as you see, there with the existing charges pending related to Osceola County, there's existing charges related to battery and potential conspiracy charges in Osceola County. He's out on pretrial release. So he's released, not held in jail pending, trial. He's posted bond, he's out on release. And now this gives the judge perfect opportunity to come in because the standard under Florida law is very, very clear. When you're out on bond, you have to obey all laws and not commit new crimes. That's a key there. Do not commit new crimes.
I literally, if I one time, even on a desktop stream, the cops will be arresting me probably within 10 minutes. So I need lawyers, really.
And that's very difficult if you're streaming 24/7 and doing things that are, pushing the edge. So this new charge is a very clear violation of the pretrial release, and the judge is very merited to go back and look at this. So let's turn to what I think is going to happen in my judgment. So in my judgment, the judge in the Osceola battery case could revoke his bond. And it's very possible if he wants to hold Clav in custody. But it's also possible if Clav wants to argue that he's not a big risk, that he's going to come back and blah, 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 etc. Well, yes, they can also have electronic monitoring. They could slap an ankle monitor on him. They can increase the bond. They can have more restrictions. They can ban him from using firearms. There's a lot of things they could come out there and do and throw in there as he's pending, as he's looking for trial, and as he's waiting on these other charges. And beyond that, if he's convicted on these charges in Miami, that will reflect very badly on the battery and conspiracy to commit battery case in Osceola County, and his punishment could be even severe there, whereas it might have been a relatively minor punishment or a plea deal previously. If he's convicted here, prosecutors can look at that and say, hey, you've got a criminal charge, Clav. We're going to have to take that into consideration. But we're going to keep monitoring this situation. I want to know what you guys think about Clav and all his criminal antics. We'll catch you on the next one. I want to take this opportunity to remind everyone to subscribe to the channel and make sure when you click on that subscription, you have all your notifications turned on, because YouTube has a way of not letting you know when the latest and greatest are out unless you make sure those notifications are indeed on for the channel. And if you really like the content, consider joining as a member. We have 2 exclusive member streams every month where you can ask absolutely any question, and we go into a little bit more casual and fun topics that we don't normally cover in the normal streams. So make sure you do that, subscribe, and consider joining as a member. Thanks.